What's up, everybody? Welcome to podcast now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to go over 10 games that still need a release date that are supposed to be releasing in 2025. Now, that's the big rule for this video, so I'm throwing out The Wolf Among Us 2 yet again. I have to do that for really all these videos. That game, maybe it comes out this year. Most likely, it's still 2-3 years away. A game like Battlefield is a game that might come out this year, right, but isn't guaranteed. So I want to take a look at 10 games that at some point or another have been confirmed to come out this year. So let's start with number 1, which honestly might be my most anticipated of this list of 10, is Crimson Desert, a game that I actually don't think would have been afraid to go up against GTA 6. Not that, GTA would have outsold pretty much any game. This is a game I'm very, very excited about. I think it's got a lot of potential, standout kind of potential, and we've seen it multiple times. We know it's coming out in the fall, right, towards the very, very end of the year. We just don't know the date, but we have seen a lot of it more and more recently, so I imagine this summer we'll get the date at a Summer Game Fest or a Gamescom or something like that. Next up, Kronos The New Dawn. This is the game from Bloober Team, a game that we haven't seen so much of, but what we've seen looks absolutely incredible. Gives off that Dead Space feel that I think a lot of us hopefully probably miss, at this point, and I really think this is, Bloober Team continuing to show that, hey, we know what we're doing. We're on the right track. Again, confirmed to be this year. They just recently showed it and talked about it more in detail, but they didn't give a date. So again, I imagine this summer, all of these games really, you imagine Summer Game Fest, Gamescom, we should get a release date somewhere around there. Number 3, I'm going to throw in Dispatch, and I'm doing this really to appease to The Wolf Among Us. While that game might just be dead and never coming out, Dispatch looks awesome. We've only seen it once, and we've only heard about it once, but I think this game has a lot of potential in terms of kind of the choose-your-own-adventure, like exactly how you play it. There seems to be a little bit more of like a gameplay system going on with which characters or like heroes or heroes to be, you throw into the action. It's got a great cast list. It looks awesome, and it really, I think, is going to hopefully going to appeal to the Life is Strange, Deck 9, Don't Nod, Telltale, all of those episodic game fans. This really seems like it could be a hit in that realm. What's a list like this without talking about Hollow Knight Silksong coming in at number 4. There's not too much to say here that hasn't already been said, but look, this game's getting closer. That is the real big thing, and it is confirmed to be 2025 by them, right? They said that at that Switch 2 presentation. So, we're getting closer and closer. There's that demo that's going to be playable in Australia in September, which makes people think that it's either going to come out right before or maybe right after. This is the year, and hopefully, at least, I don't want to jinx it, but this could be the year, and hopefully, September, October, this game comes out. And again, because of that demo and all that jazz, hopefully it's not too long, another month or two before we see the release date. Number 5 is Little Nightmares 3. I'll be honest, I didn't think we would get this far in the year without hearing about this game, because this game has seemed ready for a long time. I think they announced this game too early. They showed it off immediately after they announced it, though, and it looked like in good condition. I think they showed like a 20-minute like PlayStation gameplay thing, or they put it on PlayStation's YouTube channel. It was like a 20-minute walkthrough of just like flat out gameplay, and that was years ago. And so it's like, it feels like this game has been ready for like 2 years, but obviously it's not. I actually would have predicted this game would have already been out by now, so this is the one I'm probably most surprised we don't actually have a date on yet. But, it's still supposed to come out this year, and I imagine we're going to get that date soon. Number 6, I mentioned Crimson Desert. This would maybe be the other like most anticipated for me. Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra. Depends on how it goes, right? There's a lot of people worried about the whole, that it's just a walking sim or a tech test, right? More about the visuals and more about the technology. Maybe like the Order 1886, but for Marvel, right? I very much hope that's wrong. I trust Amy Hennig. She is a legend, and I really want to believe that she would absolutely never do that, ever in her life. But, this is a huge game. This, again, has, like, in terms of potential, this has enormous potential. This would sell, I think, an unreal amount of units if it comes out and it's extremely good, right? So this is a game that's just kind of like, I feel like begging to have like a long, showing, like gameplay and long trailer and interviews with her and kind of talking about the systems, and we've gotten really next to nothing. So Hopefully that changes this summer. I've long predicted this would be like Jeff Keighley's big thing at Summer Game Fest, maybe like 10 minutes dedicated to this game. I'd like to believe that, but, it's been so long and we've gotten so little from this game, so that needs to change pretty darn soon. Coming in at number 7, we got Metroid Prime 4. Now, look, this could really apply to a couple different Nintendo games. You have, like, Pokemon, like we actually still don't know when that game comes out, but this is a little biasness, like, me putting the list together. I'm very, very interested and excited for this game in particular, so you could pick a couple different Nintendo Switch 2 games or just Nintendo games in general, but this would be the one that I would pick. I really, it's odd because it's been in the works so long and we've known about it for so long. I also, though, kind of would have expected us to already know the release date by now. Like, I feel like when the Switch 2 was announced and they went through that whole arc, that they would, like, definitively say, okay, here's the date for it, and that never happened. So, big fall game for them, and maybe there's more Nintendo games that we don't know about that are also coming out in the fall, but I imagine, Pokemon / this is going to split, parts of the fall and dominate, for Nintendo. Number 8, Ninja Gaiden 4. Sometimes I forget that this game is coming, and that's on me. That's my fault, but you know what? I'm not going to miss it, when it comes out. Ninja Gaiden 2 Black was freaking phenomenal. It was actually the first time I played that game, and Ninja Gaiden 4, when they showed that at the same time, right? That just looked so unbelievably good. I cannot wait for it. Again, I don't know why it's under the radar to me, but it just feels like it is a little under the radar. Look, I imagine because of the Xbox, partnership and just kind of strategy there, this is probably something that's shown off at the Xbox event in June. We probably get the date, and I think we'll get I didn't even put this on this list, but a game like Mixtape was also shown off at the Xbox event last year. It's on Game Pass. I think the Xbox event in June is going to give us lots of dates for some of the games on this list and some of the games not even on this list. Well, speaking of that, let's just go to another one. In The Outer Worlds 2, kind of exactly the same thing, except I wouldn't say, this one kind of is more on my mind more often than not. I'm pretty psyched for this one. Really, though, in terms of, predictions and all that stuff, same kind of thing. It'll be, I think, shown at the Xbox event. They'll give a date, October, November, somewhere in that range. And then number 10, going off the board a little bit, the Untitled Spongebob game. Just kind of wanted to throw this in. Look, it's always good, I think. It's always a good year when you have a new SpongeBob game coming out. And whether it's Battle for Bikini Bottom or Hydra, which I thought was awesome. Cosmic Shake, I thought was a very solid game. It's not going to, win Game of the Year or anything. It's not going to be my favorite SpongeBob game ever, but that game is incredibly solid, I believe. And, while I like remakes, and this Untitled SpongeBob game could be a remake, to be honest with you, could be a remaster, doesn't have to be a new thing. That's fun. That's fine. I would take that. But I can also, give props, and I feel like, when they're making brand new games, that's also pretty cool. And I think they showed that with the Cosmic Shake. So, I don't know, probably under the radar, not on everybody's mind, but I personally, I grew up with SpongeBob, grew up with many of the SpongeBob games that I thought were actually really, really good. And, I continue to like them to this day. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.